think it was unprecedented. This was definitely one of the biggest fitness stories of the year. And I think this was the rivalry that put bodybuilding on the map way back in the golden era of bodybuilding. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Fitness After Dark. It's your host, Naid Villavicencio, as always. And without further ado, señores y señoritas, we are live. It never gets old. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Obviously, one of the biggest stories of the past year in the fitness world has been what happened with Liver King. Obviously, you guys don't know, Liver King is like huge internet dude in like the fitness space. And I think around YouTube as well. Like his videos have been getting over like 1 million views. It's insane. But over the weekend, I guess, or I think sometime last week, it got leaked on one of his emails that he's on steroids. That man's not clean, bro. The man is not natural. It got leaked over the weekend, I guess, by like someone someone leaked it online of what he was taking, bro. It was fucking crazy, dude. It was just an assortment of performance enhancing drugs that anyone honestly that would take that would just get fucking jacked. It got leaked and obviously even made more headlines when Derek from More Plates, More Dates went ahead and showed up on the Joe Rogan show to talk to her all about it, man. I think what's insane about the Liver King controversy, if it even is a controversy, honestly, more or less not like a surprise from anyone that follows fitness. I think what's fucked up is that like a large amount of people actually bought into the fact that he was natural. Like they literally took a look at this guy and they went, "Oh yeah, dude, he's natural." I'm just like, no, come on, what? And even the same thing with Hollywood, dude. Like when the dude from Silicon Valley transformed his physique, a lot of people were like, "Oh, like, dude, that's awesome." And it really is awesome. He went from the way he was looking before to just jacked. But the fact that people still thought it was natural, I'm like, no. What? I think it's just kind of insane the fact that he was able to dupe that many people into buying the fact that he was natural by eating like bull testicles, eating fucking whatever, dude, you know, the crazy shit that he was talking about. What I think bothers me more than anything about that is just that kids, bro, like 12 to 13-year-olds are thinking that that's the way, if you want to look like Liver King, then you got to do that, when it's simply unrealistic and it's simply not the case. You want to strive for something that ideally is your dream physique, but something that's realistic, you know? And listening to a guy like that who's telling you that he's natural and that he takes all that shit, that's the thing that bothers me the most, that you shouldn't be duping people like that, you know what I mean? Like, and then that apology video he sent out later that week after that whole scandal, whatever you want to call it, he was apologizing and most people didn't buy it. They were like, "Oh, come on, man, get out of here, bro. What? That's the thing that bothers me the most about that. I think the Liver King controversy, there's a lot to be taken away from that. But more than anything, though, it's just the fact that he was able to dupe that many people and the influence he had on that many people, like the younger generation, like the 12 to 13-year-olds that really should have like a good influence with someone showing them the right path to making their progress in the gym and in fitness. And them listening to a guy like Liver King who was that influential, had that massive of a following, then have that fallout. That's the thing that astonishes me, that he duped that many people with it. And that's kind of like my takeaway from, I think, one of the biggest fitness stories of the year. And in quite some time, honestly. It's just crazy how fast of a following you can get doing the shit that Liver King did. So that's my takeaway of it. Now let's get into the more historical but darker side of fitness. So let's talk about the rivalry that arguably put the bodybuilding scene on the map in the 1970s. Before this, bodybuilding was still a relatively unknown sport, but this rivalry, which was documented primarily in pumping iron, was the one that put it on the map and set it big for the years to come. And that is the rivalry between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno. I think it was the perfect contrast. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a confident, charismatic kind of guy, and Lou Ferrigno was kind of the opposite of that. You know, he was very keeping to himself, but still had that underdog quality to him, right? With his dad coaching him along the way, just pushing him to strive even harder about that. Arguably, that perfect contrast between the two in the film Pumping Iron, that documentary, that rivalry, had those moments where, case in point, they were having breakfast together, I think right before the Olympia competition, and literally Arnold, you could consider, was playing mind games with Lou Ferrigno, just playing around with him when they were eating together, you know, and the dad just hyping Arnold the whole time instead of Lou, which is kind of sad. That rivalry had so much into it, but the rivalry in general had so much to it that made it really, really appealing to so many people. And I think when you ask people now, it still resonates. Like, you ask people nowadays, like, dude, who do you know from that era, right? They probably will say, dude, I know the guy that played the Incredible Hulk, and then I know Arnold, bro. And it makes sense. Like, that rivalry was as perfect as you can get, and their training was so inspirational that even now there's a badass video on YouTube that's like a training montage that I listen to personally when I lift, right? It has the two lifting to the soundtrack from Rocky 4, which is incredible. It's super dope. I will admit, it was kind of sad watching Pumping Iron the first time without knowing anything about the Mr. Olympia competition, getting so sad that Lou didn't take first place. I was heartbroken. I was like, no, man, I wanted him to take the dub. I wanted him to take the win. Overall, though, I think that rivalry had so much to it. The historical aspect of it, the competition, and overall, from that rivalry, you can really take away that greatness will succeed if you push yourself to heights that you didn't know that you could achieve before. Now look at us, we're getting kind of sentimental on this little podcast. Who would have thought? But that rivalry is definitely one of the ones to look back on when you're kind of looking back on the sport of bodybuilding, right? You have the 90s, you have the Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cullers, then you have the 2010s, right? You have the Phil Heaths, the Kai Greens, and then you have the 1970s, which arguably you could say was Arnold and Lou Ferrigno. 1960s, like last week we talked about Sergio Oliva and Arnold Schwarzenegger that ushered in the golden era of bodybuilding. But the one that really put on the map, you can say Arnold, Lou Ferrigno, aka the Incredible Hulk. Now, this was this week's podcast, guys. If you enjoyed more bodybuilding content just like this one, don't leave. Stick around. We got 2 more videos right up here for you guys to check out as well. We have plenty of content for you guys to explore, so be sure don't miss on any of that as well. All right, take care, guys. Have an excellent week and have an awesome workout.